You know, it's really easy to assume in the marketplace that abuse is purely just physical. It's not
Yes,
though, is it?
no, not at all. It can be emotional, it can be psychological, financial, and it leaves a lasting impact on people's lives.
And we come across this sort of stuff with so many of our clients. They talk about the different types of abuse, and some people, and I guess we, from our own personal experience, sometimes we don't even know we're being abused, where the coercive control over people might be so long lasting and slow, because a lot of this sort of stuff's manipulated very slowly into somebody else's life, where that coercive control can creep up on someone, and then others will go, hang on, that's not quite normal.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people outside of the situation can see it a little bit more clearly than people inside the situation.
We were talking to someone recently that sort of said to us, oh yeah, lots of people said, oh yeah, that person's always been that way. It's always been controlling. I think, well, if other people had noticed it, why hasn't the person that's been the victim of it noticed it?
Because they've been controlled so much that they don't notice it.
Yeah.
There's a conditioning that has happened in their life, and it would have started really slowly, and you wouldn't have noticed it. It would have been like just a little bit here, just a little bit there, and you wouldn't notice it at all. And then you think, oh, that's a bit of a funny personality trait, and we'll deal with that. But of course, that becomes bigger and bigger, and it snowballs. And then all of a sudden, years down the track, quite often you're like, how did I get here? Because it's so subtle.
And I remember you telling me when you were first, talking about your own situation where you were involved in a domestic violence situation, and with somebody else previously, and you didn't know.
No,
Because
no.
it was like almost like creepy crawly, where it would creep up on you.
It's so covert, and it's hidden away, and people outside doesn't necessarily recognize it straight away. There were a few people that pointed it out to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, that's not him. No, you're seeing it wrong.
But looking back on
it, the red flags were there all the way through.
And isn't it interesting, because we do that red flag series, which
right.
is so important, and then we do the green flag series, which brings in the proper way to look at stuff and what's good about relationships, because it's not always bad. There's stuff that's obviously we need to focus on the good stuff, not just the bad stuff. And I remember when you'd just written your book and you were going through the manuscript, and you remember the story, and I read your manuscript to help you edit do the first edit, and I looked at it, and inside of me, even though I knew exactly what had gone on with you, I was thinking to myself, why didn't she just run? Why don't they just run?
Well, there are so many. That question is so huge, and there are so many reasons why you don't just run. And often,
I know it now. But
that's right.
And people that are watching will go, because of A, B, C, and D, and and there's so many reasons. And I know that you've made some blogs which are really great, because one was the Great Safe Escape, which I thought was great. It's a terrific read, and maybe we can include that in the links below, so that that showing exactly what people can do to get out of the situation that they're in.
How to safely escape.
Yeah.
Because most murders happen, most things happen is when they are trying to get out of the situation and the control is being lost. So you need to make sure that you are escaping correctly.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good
it's
advice.
Really important to do that.
Yeah.
And there are lots of tips on that blog.
Yeah.
But yes, it's really important to do that.
So, like, there's all different types of abuse. We spoke about, what about financial abuse? Well, how's that look?
Oh, look, if someone's got complete control of your money,
Yeah.
and you're being given just a little bit trickle here and there, or you have to ask for everything, that is financial abuse. That controlled environment.